we have Alyson Court, who originally voiced Jubilee, and then so, Ollie, how intimidated were you to take over Jubilee?
If we're talking about, finding the voice, Alyson, first of all, I grew up on X-Men, the animated series, like most of the people. It is a huge influence on the person that I became, not just like the actor and like the stable of voices and stuff that I do. So, Jubilee's voice was probably already in my DNA, as was Rose, as was Storm's. And so when the audition first came through, they were looking for a voice match, and because it was very obvious, even though it was a secret, name and everything like that, very recognizable, what the audition lines were. I channeled all of my Saturday mornings and rewatchings because I had taped it off of the VHS, off of the tape. I think that because of the influence of the show on me, I already sounded enough like Alyson's voice as Jubilee naturally. So it came pretty easily.
Wonderful. Alyson, let's jump down to you. Now, I want to know, obviously, finding the original Jubilee, but you got to kind of re-invoke her in X-Men 97 as a different version of Abscissa. So I would love to hear about finding the voice of Jubilee.
We had just wrapped on Beetlejuice, the cartoon. And it was the same team, essentially, that was moving on to do the X-Men animated series. I knew nothing about the X-Men. I went in, Dan Hennessy, our director, was like, "It's Lydia, just, do your thing." So I did my thing. Sydney Iwanter from Fox was like, "It is not Lydia. I don't care who you hire as long as it isn't Alyson, because I cannot take any more of that voice." So I didn't get the part originally. They hired somebody else. It didn't work out. Thank you. I'm so sorry wherever you are. I hope you have a wonderful life. So they brought me in, but it was hard. Like, Sydney was so adamant that I don't sound like Lydia, and he kept saying, "It's not a cartoon. Stop sounding like a cartoon." I'm like, "I thought we were making a cartoon." But with all of us, it was really about coming from a very real, very dramatic place. And I think part of what you hear in the Jubilee voice is an 18-year-old struggling with what that means, because my whole life and career up until that point was, cartoons and kid stuff. And then you probably hear me kind of being ticked off at Sydney, constantly yelling at me saying, "You sound like a cartoon." So I think that's how I found my Jubilee voice.